if you need to fetch data sequentially, so one fetch request relies on the other, using streaming is probably a pretty good solution to improve your user experience. And the way that you can do that is for the UI that you want to show from your subsequent request, your request that relies on your other request, you can break that into its own component and then wrap that with the suspense component that you import from React. For that suspense component, you need to give it a fallback. In our case, we just pass in a paragraph tag that says loading post, but this could be a different loader. But you use this suspense component, importing it directly from React, and then you can render your component that is going to make that kind of secondary request. And then that request can occur in that component itself. And when that request completes, it will return all the UI here. But in the meantime, we're going to show this fallback component of loading posts, which is why you see in our streaming here, we see loading posts, and then that is rendered in. But in the meantime, the rest of our page is still going to be interactive here, kind of the top portion of this page that isn't wrapped in the suspense, which in my opinion is going to be a much better user experience. The user is going to be able to see that page sooner if they're originally navigating to it. And overall, I just think it's a much better kind of UI and UX of streaming that data in when you have sequential data fetches, rather than just making it all be blocking for that entire page. And whenever possible, if your fetch requests are not sequential here and they're not dependent on each other, then fetch these requests kind of concurrently, make the fetch request at the same time. And then instead of just awaiting each request here, you could use something like promise.all and then wait for the request to resolve that way, rather than